Now to the assault trial of EFF leader Julius Malema and MP Mbuyiseni and Ndlozi. It continues in the Randburg Magistrate's Court today. Yesterday's court proceedings were marred by drama, including banning the media from streaming the event live after a camera operator's cell phone interrupted proceedings. State witness, Police Colonel Johannes Venter, testified how he was assaulted by Ndlozi and Malema at the funeral of late struggle icon Winnie Madikizela-Mandela in 2018. But Malema and Ndlozi's defense team told the court Venter's evidence was contradictory. Two more witnesses will take the stand today, followed by both Malema and Ndlozi. For more, let's go to that Randburg Magistrate's Court where Samkele Maseko is, and he covered this yesterday, continuing to cover it today. Samkele, good morning to you. What is expected to happen in court today?
What's essentially expected to happen in court today is that police officer in the Presidential Protective Unit, that would be Johannes Venter, who is alleged to have been assaulted by the EFF leader Julius Malema, and the CCT member and member of parliament of the EFF, Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, will continue as he is still currently under oath. He is currently being cross-examined by Julius Malema and Mbuyiseni Ndlozi's legal team, trying to punch holes into his affidavit that he disposed of to the police earlier on in the years of 2018 after the burial of Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, after that particular incident happened at the Four Ways Memorial Park, where he was allegedly assaulted by these two leaders of the economic freedom fighters. We do expect that the legal team will continue cross-examining Venter, particularly after that CCTV footage was played in the court yesterday at the magistrates here in the Randburg court, and they will continue playing that particular footage. We do know that the state is expected to bring on two other witnesses to the stand, who are also police officers within the Presidential Protective Unit of the presidency here in the country. And the legal team of Julius Malema and Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi did say that the statement issued by Johannes Venter and deposed to the South African Police Service and to the NPA is contradictory to what he is currently saying here in the court of law, in saying that there was no clear indication on how that particular vehicle that Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi and Julius Malema were driving into the Four Ways Memorial Park, how it ended up being allowed to go into the park, or they forcefully entered there, and how the scuffle between the three of them eventually ended. But it does look as if the legal team of Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi and Julius Malema is trying to paint a picture that Johannes Venter is an unreliable witness, as his testimony through his affidavit that was disposed through his legal team and attorneys, and that what he's currently saying here at the Randburg Magistrates Court is contradicting statements.
Yesterday, let's just do a little bit of a wrap of what happened yesterday, because we know that there was a kind of a stop and start in the courtroom, getting the videos ready, also cell phone of media ringing and then letting them go out the room. Let's talk to that, and hopefully all will be sorted today, that we can actually get that coverage.
Essentially, the magistrate Punsami yesterday did have an issue with us within the media fraternity, particularly one of the cell phone rang of one of our camera colleagues in one of the other media agencies in the country. You'd remember that in the judgment that he gave, that we could come in and there could be a pool feed being provided by one of the three major broadcasters in the country. He said that we must not disturb court proceedings, and when the cell phone rang, which was for the second time, he then directed that particular camera, which was being operated by a camera colleague in the name of Senzo from one of the Randburg-based media houses, that particular camera be switched off, and then the other colleague from that particular news agency decided to move to this other camera, which the other colleague Senzo was operating, and then the judge ruled that all cameras must be switched off, as they were now disturbing the court proceedings, as cross-examination could not take place, as Malema's legal team with Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi was then being distracted by this particular movement which was happening in the court of law. And then the magistrate ruled that all cameras switched off, and particularly when he was adjourning court proceedings for yesterday, he did clearly state that we could come back today, we could broadcast proceedings, but if we were to disturb court proceedings again, he will then make the same ruling to direct that all cameras be switched off. And then on the other issues of the video, the CCTV footage of Julius Malema allegedly assaulting Johannes Venter with Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. That was played in the court of law. That was thoroughly interrogated by the legal team of the state that's prosecuting Julius Malema and Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. And then their legal team came forth to cross-examine Johannes Venter on this particular evidence and tried to punch holes that the witness was particularly unreliable and his statements were contradictory. What also came out fully was that the state did not have a copy of the Category 1 funeral proceedings. That particular document, which was released by the state, that had to be rolled in as Exhibit A here in the court of law, and then they had to also bring in other exhibits such as the map overlay of the Fourways Memorial Park and where the presidential convoy was going to park, and where also the family of Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela was going to park. Johannes Venter going on to say that he stopped every vehicle that was coming in to the Fourways Memorial Park if it was not the presidential convoy and if it was not the family convoy, and saying Julius Malema was particularly stopped because he did not have that car sticker which is usually displayed in VVIP cars when they go into VIP areas, and then they just let them go through without stopping them and without interrogating them. Venter saying that he decided to stop that particular vehicle because he could not see any visible permit on the car, despite Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi and Julius Malema being on the list of dignitaries that were going to be allowed to enter the Fourways Memorial Park. So essentially, the state was trying to poke holes on whether VIP cars of President Ramaphosa, VIP cars of Deputy President Titi Mabuza, and other heads of state did have those permits of VVIPs, which he says that there was no particular demarcation of those permits on those 13, 14 car convoys of the presidency in the country and other heads of state. And then also, being brought into the fore was an affidavit disposed by the then ambassador of South Africa to Denmark. That would be the late Zinzi Mandela, the daughter of Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, who did also depose an affidavit which Johannes Venter's legal team and the state seemingly had no knowledge of that particular affidavit.
We'll leave it there, Samkele, because I know that we're going to be crossing to you throughout the day for this big story. A lot of interest in this one, and especially with Malema and Ndlozi both expected to be testifying today. So we look forward to the coverage coming from the Randburg Magistrates Court.